Wallace.
And I have John Holly here with me.
Three phases, dressage, cross-country, show jump. And you're out on course and something's going wrong or going right. You know how to react to what they're doing.
It was built originally to be a schooling facility, and so everything's set up very conveniently.
Welcome to the Jon and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are joining you guys from our homes today after a great weekend of eventing out here on the East Coast. Rick, good morning, and
good morning, John. Yep, happy Valentine's Day from the weekend past. I hope everything went well for y'all.
Yeah, we had a great weekend. Horses were good at Ocala. I know we all had horses running there. How was your weekend?
Yeah, super. Elisa had some really good goes with her up-and-coming advanced horses at the Advanced Combined. Briggs took young thoroughbred of ours, Ultimate Prediction training, and my Ultimate Booming Boudron, the 6-year-old thoroughbred. Started out in modified, but I retired the show jump. There's just a couple warm-up issues, but nothing big. I'm turning the reins over to Briggs on that one. It's super horse, and you had some good goes. I know Anissa's Love and Joy Prophet was there. How did that go?
Yeah, Prophet was great. He had his first run of the season, and he had a really good performance all the way across the board. Jumped around 2 great jumping rounds, and was really fun. And sort of a neat little side note, as I got home from the event on Friday night, checked the mail, and in the mail I had this jacket with the Trakehner logo on it, and a vest from the Trakehner Association with a nice letter that had said Anissa had asked them if they would send me this before she had passed away. So that was special to get that. That's on the day.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. And then my young horses, I had my Ragtime Rebel horse, the thoroughbred I got from the Secretariat Center there, and he did his first preliminary and really was very good. Then Team Rebecca's young horse, Just My Style, also known as Polo in the barn,
right?
A Dutch horse, and he did his second preliminary. So all in all, a really good weekend.
Very good. And you had a lot of clients there too.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend for everybody. I think there were 650 entered, and I think they said something like 619 horses started.
Great job, Emily Holmes, out there for doing that, and all the volunteers that were there.
Absolutely. So I know on Thursday they had the Advanced Combined Test, and Leslie Law won that on his beautiful gray first class, and then makes you and me very proud. Elisa Wallace was second on Riot Gear.
Yeah, with a very competitive dressage score, right in the mix with first class and De Niro Z.
Yeah, so we had De Niro Z in third with Liz Halliday, and then Elisa was right there again on Let It Be Lee. So good to see Elisa back up there at the top in the big classes. So that was exciting.
We're excited.
And then we had one other ride really of big note there, which was in the Advanced Intermediate Division. Colleen Loch from Canada, a former working student of mine actually, on Vermont, finished in first place and had a great dressage score there of 22.7, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a pretty good advanced score with the 22. I think it was the lowest even across the boards with what was happening in Pine Top, which I guess we can transition to.
Yeah, so Pine Top had a very frigid but good weekend up there in Georgia. And Will Faudrey was a clean sweep in the Advanced Intermediate Division there. He was first on Mama's Magic Way. He was second on FRH Ramona and third on Fun with a P.
Which is a Fernhill horse, I do believe.
Yes, which is a good little segue. Rick, well done, because we have coming up here shortly Fraser Duffy joining us.
Great.
Right after this segment, in segment 2, in our Stress Less segment, we'll get Fraser. And then later in the show, we're joined by Californian Shannon Lilley, which will be a really fun interview. I'm excited for.
Excited to hear about her move over.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple other things we just want to talk about, one of which is Kentucky.
Kentucky's on.
Yeah, really exciting that Kentucky got saved. There was, in my opinion, some poor management. We've talked to Lee Carter, and he's a great guy, but I think they, learned some lessons about how important that event is to all the eventers, and everybody banded together, care of Sarah Murphy and Dorothy Crowell really spearheading a huge fundraising campaign. So great job to Sarah and Dorothy and everybody that donated to that cause. Amazing that we got it done, and hopefully we can take all that energy that went into saving that event and continue it forward into other good fundraising efforts like the Frangible Fence Fund and whatever else everybody else thinks is super important. Absolutely.
Yep. Definitely.
I did get a minute to catch up this past weekend at the Florida Horse Park during the horse trials with Libby Henderson from Red Hills Horse Trials.
Right.
They're just trying to get all the entries that they possibly can so that event, which is another event that relies so heavily on spectators, and because of this COVID problem that we're in, they obviously can't have spectators, so they really have to rely a bit more on the entries this year. So let's take a quick visit with Libby out at the horse park and hear what she has to say.
All right, so I am here at the Florida Horse Park Horse Trials, and I'm fortunate enough I've been able to catch up with my good friend Libby Henderson, who is affiliated, and I don't even know what your official title at Red Hills is.
That's a good question. I am what they call the Operations Support Committee Chair.
Perfect.
Which means that we do everything to support the operation.
Awesome. So I really appreciate you taking a minute here to sort of fill us in on Red Hills. I know because of COVID and different things, you guys aren't going to be able to have as many spectators, or any at all possibly.
Any at all.
Which means the dynamic of the whole horse show and the finances of the whole horse show have changed tremendously. So where are we at as far as the event, entry numbers, and what do we
We are very grateful that the city of Tallahassee, who is one of our biggest partners, has worked with us and has allowed us to run. So we are very happy about that, but we do have to run with no spectators. And we typically run over 20,000, somewhere between 22 and 26,000 spectators for the weekend. So it's a huge drop to our budget to not be able to have the money from the gate. We also are unable to do our vendors, which also brings in a lot of funding for the event. So we are doing our best to put it together on a little bit more of a shoestring, and we are doing it though because we really want the riders to be able to come and have a place to run, and we would very much appreciate having lots of riders there. We do have some of our sponsors have really come forward for us, but it's very different this year.
So we're at how many right now, entry-wise?
As of Thursday night, we were at 147.
And where do we need to get?
Over 200.
So we need to get to 200, and we're getting closer to the closing date. So
closing date's a week from Tuesday, so it's Tuesday the 23rd.
So Tuesday the 23rd is the closing date.
Yes.
So we're right up against that now. So anybody out there who hasn't entered needs to get those entries in so that Red Hills can happen. It's such a important event. I've had some of my greatest memories at Red Hills. Some of my toughest ones too, but some of my greatest memories there. And it's a very special place to me. I've entered everything I can for sure. And you were saying you guys have done a lot with safety there, actually.
We have.
So
we've done a
what are
lot.
you
The
doing?
courses look fantastic. David O'Connor and Mikey S. have done an absolutely wonderful job. Our courses are more open. Our footing is fantastic. We have moved to this year. We have 12 new frangible fences going in. So thank you to all you've done with the Frangible Fence Fund and everybody.
Effort.
Yeah, everybody that has supported that. We got hardware in just Thursday afternoon for 3 more.
Awesome.
So Tyson is getting those
Good job,
built.
Red Hills. And I was talking a little bit with Jane Barron earlier. She gave me a call, and I know one of the things that she wanted to express to everybody was how grateful she is for everybody who has gotten their entries in, that have supported the event, and she's really excited about the event. But we do need to get up around those 200 entries. So like I said, if you haven't gotten your entries in, please do so. And Libby, thanks so much for taking some time.
You're welcome. We're glad to do it. And anybody that, one of the things I think we could like to see some more of would be our national level horses. I think a lot of times people tend to look at Red Hills as being the tougher horse.
Yep.
And since we are an FEI level event, people tend to think of it that way. But we do have 3 really super national level courses that we would love to have some more entries for.
Well, and to that point, one last thing here is I actually entered some preliminary horse trial horses because I know it's going to be a good education. The courses are very horse friendly, and the other thing that is important for all you guys who may be considering whether you want to go or not is Red Hills has gone back to the more gone to the newer format of having it be dressage, show jumping, and then cross country.
And the cross country is going to be on Sunday for our first time this year ever.
Right,
So
which is really cool and modernizing, and kudos to Red Hills for getting that done. So again, get your entries in. Libby, thank you.
Thank you.
Jane, thank you. And back to the show.
thank you again to Libby for taking the
Yeah.
time to join us there. Please, everybody, remember to get your entries in. I believe that event closes next week on Tuesday, and so we're coming down to the wire to make sure that that event can run. Such a great event. It's close to home for us here in Florida.
Sure.
And
And
obviously,
it's my old home.
yeah, and we've got, lots of options of places to go between Red Hills and Carolina.
Definitely.
But both events are fabulous, and let's make sure they both keep running.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Fraser Duffy from Fernhill Sporthorses.
Awesome. Can't wait to talk to him.
Want to advertise on the Jon and Rick Show? Contact Jon at 352-875-8622.
Or call Rick at 850-879-2649.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
When it comes time to compete, I demand the best out of my horses and myself. That's why Elemental Fit Lab, the home of CrossFit antics, is my home gym. Coach Vilma and her team create a fun, welcoming environment for athletes of all levels. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, Elemental Fit Lab will guide you towards a stronger, healthier version of you. Mention the Jon and Rick Show to get 3 free personal training sessions with enrollment.
Sweet Dixie South is an equestrian facility built for the lifestyle of eventers of all levels. Whether you are coming to Ocala for the entire season, a week, a month, or a year, this beautiful 160-acre farm is the place to settle in and enjoy your time with horses. They offer a full cross-country course with 2 water features, banks, ditches, and amazing footing to gallop, a spectacular all-weather footing ring, large grass jumping fields, and dressage rings. Located in the rolling hills of North Marion County in Reddick, Florida, Sweet Dixie South has 100 stalls and numerous paddocks, apartments, a line of camper hookups, washer and dryer amenities, as well as common areas to complete your experience during your stay. Under the ownership of Mike Campbell and the management of Can-Do Joe Adams at Top Rail Tack, Sweet Dixie South has transformed into a premier eventing training facility in Florida. Go to www.sweetdixiesouth.com for more information.
Hey, Rick here. Do you have a horse suffering from poor performance, anxiety and fear, low appetite, agitation, or nervousness? Stress Less can help. Stress Less, the hot horse remedy, is veterinarian-developed, show-safe, all-natural formula that promotes calmness, focus, and mood balance in horses experiencing stress related to training, showing, racing, stall rest, and travel. This equine supplement encourages calmness, focus, and mood balance without affecting the motor skills or energy levels of your horse. It promotes a more willing and balanced temperament with no drowsiness or impaired function, resulting in increased focus, a calm mind, and a happier horse and rider. Try Stress Less today and see for yourself why we think Stress Less is the best hot horse remedy you will find. Check us out at centerlinedistribution.net and on Facebook and Instagram as Stressless Horse Supplement. Welcome back to the Jon and Rick Show here at Horse Trailer Pros Studios, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. This segment is sponsored by Stressless Horse Supplement, Jon, something that we use in almost every single one of these horses that are up here on the
Yeah, it's great stuff. I do use it on almost every horse, and it's funny. As soon as I have any horse that gets a little bit nervous, I go into the barn and I say, Margaret, is this one on Stress Less? And inevitably she says, well, no, not yet. I'm like, well, it is now, and started on it. And it does work great.
It is. It's a natural, not a natural, it's a veterinarian developed, and it's for making horses just kind of find their path through where they need to go.
Yeah, it's good. It just takes the edge off and helps them focus. So
and it's
good stuff.
As I said, the one show with Lauren Kiefer Nicholson, It's very, very legal.
It's very, very legal. I'm sure they're going to use that.
She went like this. Very, very legal. What's that mean?
Yeah, so you go to, hothorsesupplement.com,
Yes.
and you can order your own. So we're really excited because we are now, what are we doing? we are now joined, Fraser, I swear we've done this before. We are now joined by Fraser Duffy, and Fraser is the chief rider at the world famous Fernhill Sporthorses. He's represented Great Britain in both dressage and eventing, and he now rides under the Irish flag. He's represented Ireland on Nation Cup teams and at the 4-star level. He's a born winner and is patient and methodical in his production of horses, which shine through in his results. He's also one of Ireland's top trainers, which is of great benefit to the young riders there. Fraser is Carol's right-hand man and is always on hand in her absence. Nothing is ever too much trouble for him, and he always goes the extra mile to ensure client satisfaction. Whew, that was hard for me today.
You did it though.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's really cool to meet you because I see a lot of Fernhill horses out there.
Yeah, there are a lot out there.
And Alex is actually a really good friend, and I've seen her blossom over the last couple of years with Fernhill horses, and I know she has a great relationship with Carol. So, what's it like representing Fernhill and having that badge?
It's great actually to be able to work with, I suppose, a quality product, for want of a better word. That when you go out and about, everyone knows who you are. You can. It just feels really satisfying to work in a great environment, actually, and I think testament that I've been there for a very long time now and don't have any plans to leave.
Right.
So, yeah.
So for me, my question would be: walk me through. You're over there, y'all. A lot of people out there. Fernhill is the farm.
Yes.
So Fernhill is not. Some people go, is that a breeding stallion that produces that? It's not. Y'all go and handpick the horses that are going to represent your farm.
Exactly.
So how do you do? What's the process for doing that?
Generally, we travel the length and breadth of Ireland, and we'll go into Europe sometimes to find horses. And we like to try and pick a wide variety of different horses. So we'll get quality young stock, 3, 4, 5-year-olds that we feel that are we can work with and produce and hopefully sell on to bigger and better things. We'll also have quite a large number of horses that we'll actually run ourselves up the grades. Again, hopefully going to move them to other hands. And a large proportion also of amateur horses we have. There's so many people out there that want a nicely produced quality horse that might be a prelim packer, for want of a better word, that they're really hard to come by. So it's worth trying to produce
They're
them.
impossible to come by right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I get calls all the time. We need a prelim packer. I'm like,
Yeah. Good luck.
you can't find them.
Call Fraser.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you actually had a group of horses this weekend at Rocking Horse.
Yes. So when I came over, I bought a few horses myself, and also Alex Green Kirby, who I'm based with, has quite a few of our Fernhill horses. And the ones actually at Rocking Horse are ones that were previously here, and I've just taken the reins to take
So you sort of came over to hang out for the winter, get away from the Irish weather a bit,
Yes,
and get to
definitely.
event and get a jump start on the season, I'm assuming?
Exactly, yeah. I brought a few horses over to compete, get a few of my international qualifications up with some of them. But I think the main reason is just to be somewhere different. I spent a long time in Ireland, a long time at Fernhill. We've got some great staff at home now that can actually keep the operation running. Carol's gone in the other direction. She's gone off jumping in Portugal. She's got a whole show jumping thing going on over there. So I've come over here, and it's great to meet different people, catch up with old horses and clients that we've seen in the past, and just spread the Fernhill name, as it were, around a little bit.
So I'm interested actually in the Portugal thing, because that is basically the winter tour for Europe, right?
Yes, it is.
So it'd be my understanding, and maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but it's sort of Europe's version of Ocala.
Yes, exactly. So there is a small eventing side over here that historically has been always in the beginning of the season, sort of February time. This year, because of COVID, they ran one in November. But the main reason people tend to go there would be for the show jumping.
Right.
And one of Carol's good friends, Duarte Seabra, who used to work for her and has always ridden Fernhill horses, who represented Portugal in WEG eventing and then went show jumping, has also represented WEG at WEG. So, he's still rides an awful lot of horses for us.
So she's gone down there and is staying with him?
Yeah, she's based in his yard, and at the moment they're in Villamora jumping in the...
It's a pretty good life. You get to go to Florida or Portugal.
Yeah,
not bad.
There's not very many times that Carol's actually back in Ireland at the moment. She tends to travel an awful lot, which is great for everyone, do you know what I mean? And she
You mean it's great
it.
for everyone that Carol's not in Ireland? I think that's what I heard.
That's not exactly what I'm saying. No, I mean, we can run the yard now. She can do most of her work probably from the phone. She's very skilled at finding and selling horses without actually needing to be in the country.
She's obviously very good at her job. She knows how to pick out a nice horse, doesn't she?
She does,
yeah.
And that's why there's so many here in the United States.
Exactly, yeah. And I think from us actually finding horses, because we've been doing it for so long, we have a great reputation, and people in Ireland will come to us with horses. So there's only so many times you can actually drive around the country and be looking. There's a lot of people that will actually travel to us now and say, I've got this horse, will you have a look at it and see if you think it's going to do the job? And most times we'll either buy them, or if we feel like it's not going to quite fit us, we'll keep them on the books, and if someone comes into the country looking for that horse, we'll know where it is.
So something I've learned about Ireland and the horses of Ireland is there's some that are proper Irish horses, and some, like you said, you go over and bring some into England or into Ireland, and I think the word is continental Irish. Is that ones that come in and not are of Irish descent?
What we call is the traditional Irish bred horse that would be probably from a cross between an Irish draft and a thoroughbred. That's traditional. Probably, what's in the past was always the Irish horse, and were absolutely phenomenal. There's just something about the brain that was different, and they were typical 5-star horses that would just keep pulling out. They had 500 legs. They could, whatever happened, they'd sort it out. Breeding changed over the last probably 15 years, and European jumping stallions were imported into Ireland, and because we could then get semen as well and do AI and things. So the jumping breeding changed, which then started to influence the eventing as well. So there is Irish bred horses that will have continental bloodlines.
Gotcha.
But also then it's very easy to import horses from Germany and Holland and Belgium and those sort of places, because it's not that far away, and travel's easy now.
Right, and I've always heard them called, I don't know if you guys actually use the terminology in Ireland or not, but when I'm looking for horses in England and it's a horse that is Irish bred with continental blood in it, they'll refer to it as being New Irish. So there you go.
I've not heard that, but
you've
yes,
learned something.
that is basically what it is.
It's a New Irish. You have your like classic Irish, and then you've got your New Irish horse, which has got European blood in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty cool to see, and it seems like with those horses that they've brought the European blood into, that you still, I'm assuming the goal is you want the great jumping ability on cross country, the great mind, the toughness, the sturdiness of the proper Irish horses, with just a little bit more jump and a little bit more movement from the warm blood.
I suppose historically the traditionally bred Irish horse was probably a slower production. They tend to, the Irish horse would be probably mature when they're 7 or 8, whereas the continental warm bloods, as it were, when they're 4, you know exactly what they are. They come out looking like the model, they move the jump, and there's not a lot more to them. It's only production on them. And I think that's probably where the market started to get difficult, because when people come in to buy a horse, they see the extravagant trot and the flashy
you
jump.
fall in love.
You do, and you can't help yourself.
Right. Well, let's get into that a little bit more, and I also want to talk about the move that you made from England to Ireland and some of your competition stuff when we get right back after the messages.
Hey, Rick here. Do you have a horse suffering from poor performance, anxiety and fear, low appetite, agitation, or nervousness? Stress Less can help. Stress Less, the hot horse remedy, is veterinarian developed, show safe, all-natural formula that promotes calmness, focus, and mood balance in horses experiencing stress related to training, showing, racing, stall rest, and travel. This equine supplement encourages calmness, focus, and mood balance without affecting the motor skills or energy levels of your horse. It promotes a more willing and balanced temperament with no drowsiness or impaired function, resulting in increased focus, a calm mind, and a happier horse and rider. Try Stress Less today and see for yourself why we think Stress Less is the best hot horse remedy you will find. Check us out at centerlinedistribution.net and on Facebook and Instagram as Stress Less Horse Supplement.
Jump for Joy USA has what you need for your private farm or recognized competition. Our jumps are no maintenance, easy to move, and affordable. No scraping or painting necessary. We offer jump stands, wings, fillers, water trays, and more. Poles are wood-filled and available in 4 weights and lengths. And we now offer octagonal poles. Our cross-country portables and brush jumps are extremely useful and have been used for training by the British eventing team since 1990. Easy to move from the arena to the field and no tractor required, so you can change your setup often. We ship coast to coast in the USA and Canada. Visit our website, jumpforjoyusa.com. Summit Joint Performance, the injectable joint supplement used by numerous international and Olympic riders, invites you to experience the winning Summit difference. Made of all natural ingredients, Summit increases mobility and comfort. Win your class with Summit Joint Performance. Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique uses manual pressure and stretching to release points of restriction, leading to freer movement, reduced soreness, and restored range of motion. He has a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle. You can quickly identify and correct any balance issues and can adjust your saddle on site. I personally have Grant work on all of my event horses to keep them feeling their best before, during, and after their competitions. Grant is based in Florida year-round, but regularly travels to Georgia, Tennessee, and the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454. Welcome back to the Jon and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are here in the Horse Trailer Pros studios, and we just returned from our Stress Less segment, and we are still joined by Fraser Duffy. So, Fraser, thanks for sticking around.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, when we introduced you, as I was fumbling through the intro there, one of the things that I think is really interesting is that you made the move at some point from England to Ireland. So, what's kind of spurred that on?
Many years ago, I think actually probably 94, I was riding for some very good friends that then employed me for I think probably 15 years, Doug Dobson and Sue Smallman, and I was doing the Junior Europeans in Rome, and we met Carol G back then. Mm-hmm. And then the following year with them I started going to Ireland, and we went probably once a month to Carol to buy horses, and so developed quite a good relationship, and we did that maybe for 5 years, and eventually I ended up moving over to Ireland and did my own thing for quite a few years, and then I'd say probably maybe 10 or 11 years I was chatting to Carol and said I'd be interested in doing something, and she said, yeah, come here, I think we'll make something work. And I think probably knowing Carol that well for that long, we both had a great mutual respect for each other that it just clicked straight away.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Been there ever since.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And so now you have an Irish passport?
Yeah, I gained Irish citizenship.
And so
yeah.
do you, it's contagious. Do you have to give up your...
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I had to give up a British passport.
Was that hard?
No. No, I enjoyed my time in England.
Right, but it was time
and
to be
still,
Irish.
It's still sort of home.
And where in England were you from?
Warwickshire.
Okay.
Rugby, so right slap bang in the middle. But I feel very at home at Ireland. I don't think I could move back again.
Right.
Yeah.
You're practically Irish now.
I am Irish.
Well, that's cool. So,
Obviously, you're here, sort of getting a jump start on the season. So, what's the plan for when you get back home to Ireland? Do you have some competitions you're aiming for?
Yes. So I've got a very good 7 now, that went to Le Lyon for the World Championship 6-year-olds end of last year. Jumped one of the few double clear rounds there. He's going to try for the 7-year-olds this year, doing that. I've got an 8-year-old that's going to move up to hopefully 4-star, aim for Blenheim 8 to 9-year-olds.
Right.
And quite a few other 6 and 7-year-olds.
Wow.
I tend to now probably aim more for the younger horse segments. I did in the past have quite a few do Nations Cups and higher level things, but it's very difficult to keep them going and have them as client horses, because you do need to spend your whole time on the road doing higher level ones.
Right. Now I remember, I think it was the last time I went over to Buccleuch, which would have been 2014 or 15. You were there.
15, yeah.
15,
yeah, with Revelation that Philip Dutton ended up buying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. It was a nice horse.
It was a beautiful horse.
Yeah.
Really
good
fabulous.
taste.
Yeah.
That's cool. So basically now your concentration is on producing these horses, bringing them up, and getting them sold into the right place.
Yes, and that is our primary thing. So we want to make sure that whatever horses we do sell, they do go to the right person. There's no point, and there's no longevity in the business if you start just selling horses for the sake of selling them.
And that's why Alex now is bringing on a lot of the Fernhill horses and selling them out of her yard.
Yeah. So Alex and I tend to work together because we've got quite a good relationship. So I'll say that horse should suit you. You can have that. Equally, we have a lot of other people around the world, but especially in America. So like Julie Richards, and I've gone blank now.
A whole bunch of them.
Yeah, a bunch of people. But it works well for us and them that we can provide them with horses for their clients, and we can try and keep everyone.
Well, you can definitely look at an entry list and see Fernhill everywhere.
Yeah.
So my question would be, what is your biggest competition with Fernhill over here in the United States?
Competition? I don't have any competition.
No competition?
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You guys do an incredible job, I think. Obviously, the primary thing you do a great job is you find wonderful horses.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
But the other thing you always do a great job of is the marketing side.
Yeah.
I kind of smile when I go to an event and you'll see, you see the top horses that guys like Philip have.
Yeah.
But you also will see the 15-year-old kid, and she rides in and she's got her dark green saddle pad with the Fernhill logo on the side, and she's got the Fernhill blanket, and she's probably got a Fernhill sticker on the side of her truck. And it's a source of pride, as it should be, that they've found this amazing horse.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that it's branding, right?
It is, absolutely. And Carol's history is from the business side before horses, really.
Right. And
that really shines through that everything with the business is well branded.
Yeah, but and I think it's so important, and it's if you want to be able to stick in horses, right, and you want to have horses as a career, you have to have a proper business. And
exactly.
Sure.
And Fernhill does such a good job of it, and I think a lot of young professionals in this country could learn from that a bit, that they a little bit, and I was guilty of it as a young sort of 20-year-old professional as well, where you have the dream of, I want to go to the Olympics, I want to ride at Kentucky, I want to go to Burley, I want to ride at Badminton, and there's no foundation behind it to have that business.
Well, I think we had Alex on a couple shows ago, and she spoke to that fact that she has her father that's a very good business person. She got Fernhill Kubalon.
Yep.
And I think that was her launch into a business, because she sold it to Philip.
Yep.
And that brought her along to where she is today. She's doing a great job. And
absolutely. It really, really is.
So the foundation for Fernhill for a young rider like Alex, who's now a young woman and married, but I've seen her go over the last 5 years just totally get into a good business mode.
Yeah, she really has. She's very driven, and she's realistic as well. She's not just
out there.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. She has a goal
Yeah.
And it's not just go represent the United States at a competition. It's let's run a good business.
Yeah, exactly.
And support these horses and see where we can go.
Yeah.
And I'm actually lucky I get to help her out a little bit as well.
Yeah.
When she's down here and you're not here. I mean, there's some great horses. Twig, what's his is it limited edition?
Limited edition.
Yeah, I mean,
Twig. I like Twig.
He's a little tricky, but man, he can jump. Like he's good tricky. He is amazing.
And she's done a great job with him now. I mean, hopefully, Landrover. Is it now?
That's the plan
right now. I made a mistake.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get there. And she's got some good horses coming up as well. So,
and there's the Fox Fernhill.
Fernhill Fox.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
Yeah.
It's a nice horse.
He's a character, yeah.
He is a character.
Yeah.
Did she ever tell you the first time that I was helping her on the flat with him what I did?
No.
She was riding along and I was trying to get her to sit the trot a bit better on him and she couldn't sit in the trot. And I said, like, we're going to take your stirrups away. So I go over there and she gives me that look of like, I don't want to do that. So I go over and I take her stirrups away, but I can't get it out of the saddle and she's struggling to get it out. So I grab it and I pull and the leather snaps when I let go, hits me in the face. Fox goes bolting across the ring. And she's like, what are you doing? You can't do that to this horse. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Sorry, I was just trying to take away your
But he's the quietest, nicest, like an amateur bomb-proof horse.
Yes.
But you just have to respect his boundaries.
Snapping a leather would make me run across.
Yeah, no, it was legit. I jumped too as I smacked myself in the face.
Yeah.
I'm a horseman, I swear.
Yeah.
Wow,
they're
just cool horses that I see all over the place, and so it's really a pleasure to meet you because I've never gotten to do that before.
So assuming things go well and you can get back home when you're supposed to get back home, are you intending to be here for Kentucky? Are you going home before that? What's your plans?
No, I have to go back before that. I'd say probably end of March, depending how travel and things are, and it's Kentucky's on, and I can get back. I'd love to come back, but who knows?
Right, come back and cheer her on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And are there other Fernhill horses slated to go to Kentucky?
Got me on the hop.
Well, what we'll do is we'll check into it.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
And again, thanks for coming on the show.
pleasure,
It's been a pleasure, and we can't wait for the Fernhill horse to continue on.
So they will. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Hey, Rick here. Do you have a horse suffering from poor performance, anxiety and fear, low appetite, agitation, or nervousness? Stress Less can help. Stress Less, the hot horse remedy, is veterinarian-developed, show-safe, all-natural formula that promotes calmness, focus, and mood balance in horses experiencing stress related to training, showing, racing, stall rest, and travel. This equine supplement encourages calmness, focus, and mood balance without affecting the motor skills or energy levels of your horse. It promotes a more willing and balanced temperament with no drowsiness or impaired function, resulting in increased focus, a calm mind, and a happier horse and rider. Try Stress Less today and see for yourself why we think Stress Less is the best hot horse remedy you will find. Check us out at centerlinedistribution.net and on Facebook and Instagram as Stress Less Horse Supplement.
Summit Joint Performance, the injectable joint supplement used by numerous international and Olympic riders, invites you to experience the winning Summit difference. Made of all natural ingredients, Summit increases mobility and comfort. Win your class with Summit Joint Performance.
Welcome back to the Jon and Rick Show here in Horse Trailer Pro Studios, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We're in segment 4, and we are being visited by who once was a West Coaster, but now is an East Coaster.
Yeah, so we've got my good friend Shannon Lilley here. Shannon is a 2011 Pan American Games Team Gold medalist with the world famous Ballingowan Pizzazz. And that's really when we got to know each other, was during that whole trip out here. And I was lucky enough, Shannon actually stayed at our farm and hung out. That was one of the most fun summers I had, and with a really crappy ending, but it was fun. And the team did awesome.
You got a car out of it.
Yeah, I did. It was great. No, it was a ton of fun, and I got to know Shannon really well then. And now Shannon actually has made the big leap, and you're going to be moving from California, or have moved from California, out to the East Coast. So welcome and welcome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
And I just learned this because I've been working with Shannon for several years as well.
A long time now, yeah.
And with the Eventing Writers Association. And so what is bringing you to the East Side?
Well, a lot of reasons. I've been in California my whole life, and the final straw were the fires. So this last summer, we evacuated twice. And essentially, now with California, that is going to be a fairly big natural disaster. And there are other reasons. It's expensive to live there. It's hard to make a business when you don't have the right facility and things like that. And so when the facility we were at was threatened, a lot of people moved. We moved to 3 different barns, actually, 4 different barns, and none of them were totally adequate. And so people started to go their own direction, which was fine because they had to do what they needed to do. And it just, every little piece started
That's so stressful.
It is stressful.
So it
is stressful.
It probably was a relief then once you were able to sell your home there and come this way. We're excited. I'm excited about having you here.
Thank you. Selling the home was the easy part. I mean, once we decided, we had already been thinking about it, and then everything started to point in that direction. And the house sold before it even went on the market, and it was that. So
it was really interesting, Rick. I think it was last week, I was riding because Shannon's staying at my place, right? She's renting
She's
stalls
in the shed barn.
And
I love that barn.
Yeah.
She was saying, you were saying that it was raining in California, and she made a comment which I think was slightly in jest, but probably truth, which was, I probably would have had to evacuate again.
Yeah.
Oh no, they are evacuating. Santa Cruz County was evacuating again. Monterey County was evacuating again. A lot of places were evacuating again just because of the mudslides.
Yep. So you get the fires that create the scorch, and then they don't have anything to hold it together, and then you get the rain that pushes it all down, and you start all over again.
Right, and it's just sad. It's sad for the communities there. The place that the barn was at in Bonnie Doon in Santa Cruz, California, is one of the best communities in the world. I mean, the people that stayed and fought for their homes and fought for other people's properties, I've never seen a community like it. It was incredible. Wow. And it's sad to leave. That part was really sad. And I have so many people there that was sad to leave, but it was time.
Time to go.
And it was time to do something different. You know, I've been there my whole life.
A new chapter.
So
this is going to be exciting. And something I did not realize until I saw you at Ann Kerensky's clinic.
Yeah.
And you're jumping around on this chestnut horse. I was like, that's such a cool horse.
Yes.
So the story behind it is Ingomar, which is right there, and Ideal came over together as the first 2 horses Caroline brought over to sell. I didn't know this until she was just on the show. Ideal, I looked at that one, and Ingomar, and that was a close one for us to have purchased. I'm so glad you got it. So tell us about that horse.
So I bought him from Caroline a year and a half ago, and she had done a handful of preliminaries on it, and it come over. It's a Stahl Hendricks bred horse, and he has been. He's a love to ride. I mean, he is so amazing to ride.
Like so much fun.
He's such a positive horse. I was riding with a guy in California in the dressage, and that was his comment. He said, he seems like such a positive horse. He just takes everything in stride. He wants to do the work. He does. He wants to be really good. He's been fun to produce further. He's moving up to intermediate at Ocala in next weekend. And he just did the intermediate prelim at rocking horse and was great and just cantered around. I mean, it was super.
Have you seen that horse?
Yeah.
Oh, it's at your
Yeah.
farm.
It's at my place. I see it all the time. It's a beautiful horse.
Yeah. So he's cool. I'm really excited about him. My dad and I own him together.
Yeah.
And so that's
So big
fun.
aspirations.
Yeah, let's hope so. Knock on wood.
So speaking of your dad, so your dad's back in California?
My dad's in California. He's in Carmel part of the year. And if COVID weren't happening, he'd be in Jackson Hole right now for 4 months.
Better place to be skiing.
Yeah, so he goes to Jackson Hole in the winters, and then they go for part of the summer, and then he's in Carmel the rest of the time. It's a good life he has.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we had Frasier on earlier, and he was talking about how Carol gets to go to Portugal, and he came down to Florida. But I think skiing sounds pretty good too.
No, I really like it. We didn't get to go to Park City.
I
and
know.
I'm still upset about that,
I
by the
know.
way.
Me too.
It's challenging this year.
Yeah, we were
All the-
almost going to do it, and then
And then our conscience came
I
in.
was like, we were going to go.
It's a conscience thing.
It was December.
It's overrated for sure.
My sister's like, come on, you can come. I was like, I just didn't feel comfortable.
The mountains are doing a really good job.
They're doing a good job.
They really
I think it
are.
was just the travel for me.
Yeah, it was the flying unnecessarily.
I
at
understand
point.
that. I understand.
So why can't we get you to like move to Ocala?
So I have a boyfriend,
Oh, whatever.
and he is not horsey. So I feel like he has to be a part of the decision, and so
It's so nice of you to include him in the decisions of his life.
What does he like to do? Does he like to golf?
well, he does not golf. He actually does. He's an outdoors guy. He hikes and he camps and he works a lot right now. So.
There's Joel over here. He can steer him fishing, go
He likes to
camping,
fish.
river stuff. There's all kinds of stuff to
trail
do in Florida.
running,
But you said he's not a
backpacking.
Florida guy.
He's not a Florida guy for whatever reason. I don't know, but he
So-
liked. So he loved Eastern Tennessee. He liked Southern Pines.
Southern Pines is beautiful.
Yes,
just
it is
gets
beautiful.
cold.
I know you guys all say that, but I haven't. I was there,
gets
and it was like 55 degrees, and I thought that was nice.
It snows
55 degrees is not nice. 55 degrees is cold. It was 55 degrees here
today, and it was freezing.
I know. Well, it was cold today,
That's
Yeah.
55
but
degrees.
it wasn't miserable. I don't think I could do Florida in the summer.
Oh,
Yeah,
you can do
you
summer.
can.
It's not bad at all.
That's what
We have this
everybody
thing, it's
says.
called air conditioning.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you have to be outside. What we do is outside.
It's outside, and it is not that bad. I hear that all the time. What's bad is Wellington in the summer. You can't do Wellington
because my
in the summer.
grandparents lived in Wellington
You
on
can't-
both sides of the
That's
family.
tropical.
You can't do Wellington.
Okay.
You can definitely do Ocala.
Really, it's less like swamp.
Where is he?
Yeah.
We need to go to dinner.
He is actually in Temecula, so he just got a job
gotta- we
assignment
gotta-
to be in Temecula for 6 months. So now,
Whoops.
yeah, good timing. We just left California, and now he's there
he's
for
back.
6 months. Yeah, so he's getting.
So,
an
well,
apartment.
we're excited about wherever you land.
Well, thank you.
So you're going to go look at property in Southern Pines.
On Friday, there's something that just came on the market. I've been working with a great realtor, Audrey Wiggins, who's up there, and she's been fantastic. She's a wealth of knowledge.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we were looking at a piece of property up there, and I'll go see some friends that are up there.
So are you rebuilding your
That's the
client
plan.
list?
Yes. So some came with me,
Oh, wow.
which was nice.
That is cool. How many?
That's some serious
just
dedication.
just a couple. I have one.
Like they sold their stuff and just came?
Well, yeah. One's 18, and
Okay.
so
Well,
she's
that's easy
in a
enough.
gap year
Yeah.
for college.
Sure.
Might do another gap year and stay. I don't know what she's doing, but she's going to stay with me.
And she's awesome. I don't know if you heard what happened, not to interrupt, but just as a quick segue with Caitlin. She
She's wonderful.
is out. I'm coaching one of my students today, and Caitlin's standing there, and I'm explaining something, and she asked me a question about a release, and I said, okay, yeah, no problem, I'll explain it to you. And so my student pulled up and hacked over, and I go, so I just was explaining to, and she goes, close, Caitlin.
She's really good.
And I'm like, right, I'm sorry.
She thinks
I'm
of
really
her
bad
feet
with
really
names.
well.
That is a good story. Did you actually explain the release?
Yeah, I did. We went through the whole release thing. I'm big on the automatic release, and she wanted to know the difference between the 3/4 release
Right.
and the
Yeah,
automatic
good.
release and why
See,
we did
there's
what.
a learning moment.
She
No,
was-
it's
it-
great.
It was cool because I got to explain it to both kids, and they both got it.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was great.
And that's part of the reason why we're here is so she can ride with other people, and same with the other client that came. Is we actually grew up riding together, and we've been good friends. She rides with me now, but the whole idea was you're in an area with a lot of top riders and coaches. You might as well, like for myself too, like you might as well learn. And so I told them to ride with other people, and I'd love to watch because you can always learn. It becomes a collaborative effort, and I
always
think
becomes like that. Let's talk more about actually the 2011 Pan American Games when we get back, because I want to hear about y'all's interactions going up to it, and we can talk more about that when we come back.
We're going to see about getting this medal shipped out to you guys.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique uses manual pressure and stretching to release points of restriction, leading to freer movement, reduced soreness, and restored range of motion. He has a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle. You can quickly identify and correct any balance issues and can adjust your saddle on site. I personally have Grant work on all of my event horses to keep them feeling their best before, during, and after their competitions. Grant is based in Florida year-round, but regularly travels to Georgia, Tennessee, and the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454. Jump for Joy USA has what you need for your private farm or recognized competition. Our jumps are no maintenance, easy to move, and affordable. No scraping or painting necessary. We offer jump stands, wings, fillers, water trays, and more. Poles are wood-filled and available in 4 weights and lengths. And we now offer octagonal poles. Our cross-country portables and brush jumps are extremely useful and have been used for training by the British eventing team since 1990. Easy to move from the arena to the field and no tractor required, so you can change your setup often. We ship coast to coast in the USA and Canada. Visit our website, jumpforjoyusa.com. When it comes time to compete, I demand the best out of my horses and myself. That's why Elemental Fit Lab, the home of CrossFit antics, is my home gym. Coach Vilma and her team create a fun, welcoming environment for athletes of all levels. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, Elemental Fit Lab will guide you towards a stronger, healthier version of you. Mention the Jon and Rick Show to get 3 free personal training sessions with enrollment.
Sweet Dixie South is an equestrian facility built for the lifestyle of eventers of all levels. Whether you are coming to Ocala for the entire season, a week, a month, or a year, this beautiful 160-acre farm is the place to settle in and enjoy your time with horses. They offer a full cross-country course with 2 water features, banks, ditches, and amazing footing to gallop, a spectacular all-weather footing ring, large grass jumping fields, and dressage rings. Located in the rolling hills of North Marion County in Reddick, Florida, Sweet Dixie South has 100 stalls and numerous paddocks, apartments, a line of camper hookups, washer and dryer amenities, as well as common areas to complete your experience during your stay. Under the ownership of Mike Campbell and the management of Can-Do Joe Adams of Top Rail Tack, Sweet Dixie South has transformed into a premier eventing training facility in Florida. Go to www.sweetdixiesouth.com for more information.
Welcome back to the Jon and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros here in the Horse Trailer Pros studios. And we are still joined by Shannon Lilley, so thanks for sticking around.
Sure.
So we had just finished up the last segment, and we were going to talk a little bit, Rick, you had asked
I want to know about 2011 and
It was a great year.
what went on. You know, I know, John, there's some disappointment but being able
it was a
to,
good experience.
Being able to make the team and have a super horse to do it with, and it's unfortunate what happened, but tell us about what that experience was like, because I think a lot of people don't get to experience that. And
Absolutely.
y'all got to, on one more than the other, but still you shared it together a little bit. What happened?
Shannon, you're the guest. What happened?
Well, I mean,
you came a long way from California.
I did. So I had a very good horse. We actually, it was you just had Fraser here. It was the first horse we ever brought over from Ireland, and we bought it for an amateur. And anyway, and I ended up getting it. It was a fabulous horse, and so we just kept ticking the boxes. Like, and the idea was stick to your program, and if you win, they can't ignore you, right? In any sport. And so we went to the final selection trial at
Richland, right?
Richland.
Yep.
And we won. And so we got picked to come east and be like for the squad or whatever they called it.
Right.
And so Jon was kind enough. Then we went to Morven for the final outing.
Was that who? David, who's coach?
It
was
Mark.
Mark.
It was
So it was Mark.
Well, the Olympics were Mark's last, so this was his second to last,
Yes.
I think. And Sarah Ike was the eventing director. And so Jon was kind enough to let me stay at his place, and I stayed at his house and met Jen and Jon, and we had the best time. I will say the people that they had for the team that year, Jon, myself, Lynn,
Buck.
And Buck, and Michael Pollard.
Yep.
And Lynn made it.
Lynn was the alternate. She came on when I went off.
But it
Right.
was the best group of people. I mean, it was so much fun. And I had come east previous to that and not felt the same welcoming feeling, I
when
guess.
you were with the Hauling.
But I will say, like, I made such good friends in that experience.
That was really cool.
And it was and the team experience was incredible, and going with your horses, all that, but the friendships that I made from that, and Hannah Sue, that was the other one, sorry.
Yep. Well, it was one too many, because for sure.
But it was great.
So one thing that I loved about that whole thing was Shannon, probably don't even remember this, makes really good turkey tacos. So she made dinner one night and made turkey tacos with black beans
do that again.
and a little bit of, we need to do it again.
Yeah.
And then there's like some diced onions, and they were so good. And I have stolen that recipe, and I make it all the time.
I have more recipes I can give you, too.
Okay, if they're that good, I mean, I'm telling you, it was like
Well, I
amazing.
think all of y'all need to get together with Briggs, and y'all just create taco night. We can have turkey tacos, we can have chicken tacos, we can have fish tacos.
All the
and just
tacos.
Do the
I love
tacos.
Yeah.
So, Jon, you were on what horse?
That was Downtown Harrison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that horse went to Bocolo.
Yeah, so this is obviously a show about Shannon, but just because
I know,
you,
but I
because
wanted
you
to
asked
talk
her.
about the horse.
About you too.
I mean, my name's on the show.
But this was an experience between you two. We got to learn what
Exactly.
horse she was on. What horse were you on?
Yeah, so I was on Downtown Harrison, and he still is. Jen rides him now.
Right.
He's a great horse. And
Tricaner,
that's right. And he was, I think, the first Tricaner I had, actually. And he was super, but he did, the night before the horses flew out, they had a vet inspection, and he limped a little bit. And so they asked me if I would step off the team, and they put Lynn on the team. And that was hard. That was not a great experience, but all in all, the whole thing was great.
I know.
And I went home, we did a little research as to what was going on with the horse. He came out the next year, that's when he won Bromont. And then I was able to go and ride at Bocolo in the Nations Cup. And actually, although we didn't get a team medal there, I did end up finishing as the top American on the team. And it was kind of a good little consolation prize, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
And that horse had a great career, and he definitely was not the soundest horse in the world. He sort of would get a couple big runs, and then he'd be on the shelf for a little bit, and then we'd bring him back.
He's a cool horse, though.
But
he
was a performer,
job.
is what he was.
Right.
Yeah.
And you, how were you in your performance individually at the Pan Ams?
It was great. It was an interesting. So the dressage test, I came out. I was the anchor rider, and I came out, and my whole team was like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna win!" Like that was the winning test, and it scored differently than we thought, which is okay. And he went clean, double clean cross country, and that horse could show jump like always show jumped clean. He was allergic to the wood, and so he jumped clean. But the way they did it, so Mark thought he would, then you jump again individually.
Right.
And Mark thought we all did, but not all of us did. So then it became, I think that the top two that were selected then jumped. And then that is what determined the individual. So we didn't actually get to jump myself. Michael and I guess the top three, Michael, Hannah, and Buck were the three that jumped, and that jumped the second round.
And it's because they wanted other countries to have
that was
a
exactly
chance
it.
at the medals. And I remember
that doesn't happen anymore now. We don't do that
No,
anymore.
it won't be that way now because of the way it's set up.
Right, but that was the way it was for quite a long time.
Right.
Yeah. But you're right. It was because they didn't want a monopoly of the nation, like the U.S., basically U.S. and Canada, to win.
I remember Packy
all the places.
McGowan at the Pan American Games in
Rest his
Indiana. He actually was, I think, in third and didn't get the bronze medal because it was American.
Right. Right.
So they do that at the Pan American Games.
Right.
And it was a bummer because you're right there.
So
but
it was a bummer because
But-
he would have jumped clean.
But here's the thing that I thought was pretty interesting. I texted Shannon earlier today, sort of getting ready for the show, and I said, you got to bring the medal. And where's the medal?
So the medal is in a safe. So we sold our house, right? So
It's in the house?
No.
Oh.
It's in my boyfriend's dad's safe, and he's flying home then and to move to Temecula for 6 months, and then he's gonna
Bring it
with him. But he doesn't know if he should ship it. We're trying to figure out what to do, and it makes me nervous to ship it. And I should have just brought it with me, but we thought that it was going to go with him when he drives out.
Sure.
And what
I
I
didn't
said
actually
was,
think I would need it.
I would wear it all the time.
I
would
It
get
would just be like
get a big gold chain,
Right.
and I'd have that medal right there, and I'd
and
be
that
like,
ribbon, with the Pan American ribbon would go
I'm
through
surprised
the
you
oh,
didn't
you just
tattoo
interlace
that on
it,
you
Yeah.
already.
and then I would have I'd be like an NFL defensive back. I would just wear it all the time.
Yeah.
And then when we get in a fight on the show, Rick, you could grab my chain and yank it.
You could have like a velvet sweatsuit and stuff too.
Man,
Oh yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Down.
that's what I would do. I'm just making a recommendation as to how you could display your medal.
Okay.
So just,
Duly noted.
yeah, just take that in, do what you want
So-
with that.
Okay.
So that was a very big highlight for you, though,
Yes,
right?
it was.
And so moving forward, the next, I think this horse that you have could be,
I hope so.
Could be something.
So the lady I used to work with, and she's one of my best friends in the world, Dana Lind Pugh. I worked with her for years. We were business partners for years, and then she's been my coach since I was 8 years old. But she's the one that saw the video of Ideal and said, "You gotta go try that horse." She's also the one for the Ballingown Pizzazz horse.
said, you got to go try that horse.
We got to buy this horse. And I said, really? Yeah. And then there was another horse that he's no longer with us, but another one that same thing, that you got to buy that horse. And they've all worked out. So I try to follow her advice. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's so important, right? Is you have to have someone that knows you, that you trust, that knows how to pick out horses.
Yeah, she has a great eye.
Yeah, I mean that's
and it's key that
so important.
they know you
Right.
as a rider, and so there's reasons why I like him, and he brings out the best in me as a rider, as opposed to some horses may, bring out my weaknesses. And you try not to have that.
Well, again, I'm going to bring up Ann Kerensky's clinic because I watched you starting in the beginning, and the horse does not like to jump little jumps.
No.
He jumps so much better when they get bigger.
Yes,
and I was like, as I started going, I was like, I know that horse.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It's very cool that you did that. So you're going to run intermediate at Ocala. There's got to be a game. I mean, we have COVID. What are you going to try to aim for?
So I'd like to do a 3-star this spring. I'm still sort of getting my bearings here. So I asked Jon a lot, like, where do you go? And then Buck is a great mentor for me as well, and good friend. And so I asked him, like, where
Well, we
what
got
do you
not
do
so
out
many.
here?
You got Jersey Fresh.
Right.
You've got
So
April's Ocala.
right. There's April's Ocala. I'd like to go to Red Hills, and it sounds like that short course is fairly similar to the intermediate, if I'm depending.
Yes.
And so those are the things I'm trying to figure out if that happens because of COVID. I don't know. And then, like, I know Jon goes to Pine Top. Some other people go to Pine Top. So I'm sort of
Finding
feeling my way
your
through. But I'd
way.
like to do a 3-long sometime this spring-ish.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. And I think now as the qualifications are changing for like CE.
Oh, July 1st, I know.
Yeah, so he'll have to do 2 probably.
Get it done.
Yeah,
Right.
and then and which isn't the end of the world. Like it took him a long time to develop. You probably when you saw him, he looked like a thoroughbred, and now he doesn't, and he's developed so much physically in his body. And I think like had last year not happened where we had to take a bit of a break and just train. Like I probably would have pushed him faster than maybe he should have.
There's
was
always
ready
reasons
to go.
for things to happen.
So I'm actually happy with how far he's come along, and I think now he's really ready to do things. So.
Well, a lot to be excited for.
Yeah.
We're excited about having you here. We're excited about
Thank
seeing how
you.
Ideal does. And thank you so much for being on our show.
Yes, thank you. This has been great.
Jon,
You guys
till the
are
next
awesome.
show.
Yeah,
we're gonna
we'll
bid
be
everybody.
back.
Good night. Rick Wallace.
I have Don Holly here with me.
3 phases, dressage, cross country, show jump, and you're out on course and something's going wrong or going right, you know how to react to what they're doing.
It was built originally to be a schooling facility, and so everything's set up very conveniently.